Hello, this is Sean. Welcome to my channel. I am the Divine Feminine Abolitionist, and we are free. I'm coming back to have a discussion on the Empress card, which is the it's the third card in the Major Arcana deck, or, in any deck. And I used the spread that I'm doing. I was doing it from the Hoodoo Tarot, and in the Hoodoo Tarot, the Empress is represented as the Big Queen, which makes sense because the Empress embodies all four queens. So I put pictures of myself. This is a tool. This is actually a spiritual tool of imagery. Is that you create your own deck, your own cards, even if they're oracle cards, with your own image of energies that you want to embody or that you feel that you do embody. I know when I first went into my dark night of the soul process, the Empress energy from the Afro-Brazilian deck was what was speaking to me, and it's actually what helped me to get in touch with my ancestors who embodied that energy. My great-grandmothers came and really were the catalyst of how I was able to get through that experience and to ascend into Empress energy. And I'm still in my ascension process. I'm still in me being comfortable in this energy. And one of the things that I have found is that of the Empress, and why you would call her the Big Queen, is because she's done the work of rooting and grounding herself in all of embodying all of the queens. And that means the distorted view of a queen and the divine view of the queen. Because one of my concerns about spiritual communities is that we use the term karmic and apply it so haphazardly to people. We're all divine, and there are times that we're not acting in our divinity. It's distorted, and we act in karmic natures. But this whole energy of this person is karmic, and that, and a lot of times I feel like this community has gotten very comfortable with applying it, especially in unions, to this person is karmic and this person is divine. All the people involved are divinity. And this whole, I feel like a lot of times this community kind of feeds codependency, this ideology of feeding people this thing of, oh, your divine partner wants to come to you, but the karmic is holding them up. Let me tell you something, and this is a fact, that's a fact, that's a fact. When a soul decides to love another soul, it doesn't matter what their situation is, they're going to do that. And prayerfully, what we want is that people who find themselves in unions and they no longer want to be in unions and they want to deal with somebody else, that they gift out of the unions so that they cause no harm in doing so. But I feel like in this community we breed this kind of energy of doing to others that which we wouldn't want to do to ourselves. We we encourage unions of breaking up, and so that these divine relationships can happen and all of this. First of all, if you have not found your own divinity, you're not going to attract a divine partner. You're going to attract a distorted partner. Because I was one of my favorite tarot readers, her name is Baba Jolie. She says we can only be with someone as deep as we're willing to be with ourselves. So if you haven't gone to the depths of who you are, then you will go into union, you will go into love, you will go into any type of experience from that consciousness of distortion. And so that's what I love about the Empress, is that I often say, I say the statement of myself, is that I am throned and crowned, meaning I don't leave my throne for drama, unnecessary craziness. Like, I stay in my lane and I do me, because I'm very good at it. I'm very good at doing my life, and I don't need anybody's permission to do me. And I feel like going into other people's lane, or projecting my energy into that. Like, I spent so many years of my life, decades of my life, allowing my energy to be drained by other, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen now, but I'm a lot better at recalling back my energy. Like, I still have energy that's out in the planet that I'm doing the work of calling back to myself now, energy that I projected at other people for the things that they were doing to me. Like, if there's nothing that I can do about it, then there are times that I need to let go and let God, and trust that the divine intelligence that created this entire universe can take care of whatever is going on in my life that I feel is pulling on my energy in a direction that I don't want it to go. So when I say embody all of the queens, my nature is the Queen of Cups. Like, that's who I am, nature. Just one, I am a Cancer. And my choice, I'm a Cancer Sun, and I'm also a Cancer Venus. So it's how I love, and it's how I navigate the planet. And when I'm not acting from my highest self, and being in my highest nature, when I'm being small or whatever, then I can be this person who doesn't see other people clearly, or I can be this approval seeker, or I will small up for other people when I'm not acting from a divine space of Queen of Cups. And that has been my work for my whole lifetime. And Queen of Swords, this energy, I've just been kind of getting into this energy in the last 2 years or so, in terms of it being divinity for me, of speaking my truth and cutting through all of the bull crap, and being very clear with people, and my boundaries, holding boundaries. The Queen of Swords is very good at setting boundaries and maintaining them, and holding people accountable for not respecting the boundaries. And I had a huge issue with that, because I would be a person who would set boundaries, but one, I wasn't honoring them myself a lot of times, and I wouldn't demand that other people honor my boundaries. So a distorted Queen of Swords is somebody with a sharp tongue, just quick to attack, doesn't necessarily apply empathy and compassion in times they may be necessary, and she may yield her sword unwisely. I mean, if you are a sword, like, think of Mulan, being a warrior, or knowing, like the samurai warrior, knowing what the art of war is, and knowing that having your sword, or being a sword keeper, is an honor, and that you have a certain accountability to navigate the world in that energy. The Queen of Wands, a lot of times this person is like, if she's in a distorted view, she's like the sex kitten, or a lot of times people say that she's the side chick or whatever. And the thing about the Queen of Wands and her divinity is that she has the power of manifesting. She has the power of thinking a thing, speaking a thing, and making that thing happen. But when she's in a distorted view, she will do it by any means necessary, and it doesn't matter who she hurts and who she destroys to get her way, to have her way. And I've operated from both of those. It's not necessarily my nature to operate from that space, but I have operated. It's more of my nature to be from the Queen of Cups, to just be very loving and very supportive, and, you know, to be present and try to show up in the best version of myself. That's how I see myself when I'm in my divinity of my nature. And the Queen of Pentacles, I'm going to say this, like, I have always walked in abundance, and it's just been a grace. It's just been a grace. And it's something that I feel like I've taken for granted. Now, in the trajectory of my life, I feel like I've taken it for granted. But the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who manages resources very well. They attract abundance, or they know how to maintain abundance. I've always been very good at being able to attract the things that I need. And so now I'm learning that it's okay to be somebody who is capable of attracting abundance and really setting your mind for it and having goals. And it's okay to have those goals, because I always used to see, I didn't necessarily see that strength in me. Like when people say, you know, she's all about her bag, or she's all about the hustle, that wasn't necessarily my vibe or my energy. And I've transmuted that energy to fit me. I'm not a chaser of the bag. I am an attractor. That's the truth about who I am. I will attract. And it doesn't mean that I won't apply effort and do the things that I need to do to have it, but I'm not the person who goes chasing. I'm the person who attracts. And when I say attract, I mean I'm the person who will write the novel and believe that I will get the right publisher, the right publishing deal, and that it's going to be the bestseller. I'm that person. I'm the person who, when I look at abundance, it may not be defined by how everybody else looks at abundance. Like, I'm not looking at, you know, the big shiny place or whatever. My idea might be a farmhouse and renovated, and you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm comfortable with me being the Queen of Pentacles in my divinity in the way that I am. And I've gotten very comfortable with it in terms of not needing to explain it to anyone, because people looking in are like, well, you know, people want to know, what are you actually doing? How do you actually create this abundance? And it's really nobody's business. But I mean, sometimes it's curiosity, sometimes it's just nosiness, and sometimes it's people, you know, really wanting to know how they can apply manifestation skills in their own lives. So that brings me back to the Empress. I'm going to read from the Tarot Bible, and I got this particular Tarot Bible from the woman who runs the Cancer Babies channel. She does this. This was a couple of years ago, but she does this. She's such a gifter. Like, she's a Cancer like I am, and she's such a giver. And like, people who subscribe to her channel, she just gives things away. And she's just sent me this book a couple of years ago, and I've had it for a while, and I do refer to it. And it's the Tarot Bible by Sarah Bartlett. I'm going to show it in the camera, but here it is. I'm going to read from it. The Empress represents the creative, nurturing aspect of the feminine. Her archetype is one of abundance, fertility, and creativity. This card is concerned with nature, the arts, grace, beauty, and at its worst, greed, possessiveness, and overindulgence. When you draw this card in a you now position, it can indicate your nurturing instinct is powerful, and you need to concentrate on creating harmony in your relationships. Alternatively, perhaps you need to nurture your own heart or get in touch with your sexual needs. So, you know, as a single person, I guess a lot of all of that applies to me. Um, I'm not like opposed to love, but I'm like really the place that I'm at in life is like I'm very happy where I am and I don't feel any lack whatsoever. I mean, I am very much in love with my life. I love my life. I you know, when I started this process to get here, I could not even imagine myself here because I was so stuck in a place of disillusionment and heartache, and you know, all of that stuff that comes with when a close to a decade union is severing and you find yourself in discard and all of that, you know, all the things that can go through your mind with that. But it was the greatest gift that I could have gotten because it got me here to where I am now at such a place of, I mean, it was the greatest gift. And I'm so grateful for the experience. And when I was going through it, I didn't have any perception in my mind that I would be here one day saying, I'm grateful for the gift of that experience because I just really could not. I mean, it was so painful and so challenging to experience. I just could not see me being a person who would embrace it and have absolutely no ill will. You know, and this has been a process. It's been a process and a journey. I have absolutely no ill will towards the person that I'm in, that I'm divorced from. Like, I'm grateful for the experience. It's not something I want to repeat again. I'm thankful that my soul got the lesson, and it's not something that I do have to repeat again. But what I'm saying is, in being thankful and having no remorse and having forgiveness doesn't mean that I want to have any kind of experience with this person, because I don't. And that's not from a place of, you know, negativity or embracing. It's just that energetically we are not the same people. And what I'm finding is I don't want to, you know, there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about you get one demonic, and I'm in no way am I calling this person a demon, but the experience was a demonic type of feel. So you get one demon out of your house, but then you don't shut the door, you don't keep it clean, you don't do the energy work. So 7 more spirits, well, it doesn't say demon, it actually says spirits. You get one spirit out and you get 7 spirits back. So the spirit of that individual is not something I want in my space, but I'm very grateful that I had that experience and that I'm on the other side of it. And another thing about Empress spirit is that she is very comfortable in her divinity and her relationship with Source, in terms of knowing that, I mean, we know histories of Queen Nefertiti, Sheba. We know these histories, and we know European queens as well. We know Nordic queens. We know histories of queens and some of the things that they had to face in a lifetime. I feel like you can't have that level of trust from the universe without trusting the source, without trusting divine intelligence, because when things come up and you need to deal with them in a strategic manner, you don't always have all the information, you don't always have all the answers. But for me, Empress understands this. She may not know, but there is a knowing that knows. And to me, Empress, when she said the big queen, it's big mama energy. It's like you evolve to this person. You know, some of us come from matriarchal systems where we watched our grandmothers do incredible things. Like my maternal grandmother was orphaned when she was 12 years old in a little town called Tollboro, North Carolina, and she had siblings, and her siblings got jobs, and they made sure she had an education, and she migrated from North Carolina, which we call the South, down south, to the East Coast, and she went to nursing school, and she met my grandfather, and they started a family, and they bought homes, and they did careers, and they owned business, and they owned property. But and she's still living now. She'll be 94 on her birthday this month. She's a Virgo, and but what I'm saying is, like, she did a lot of that without her mother's energy. But before her mother passed away, my grandmother had the opportunity to live in the house with my great great grandmother and my great grandmother. So she had her grandmother and her mother, and they were all living in the same house before my grandmother passed away. And so she had that energy. She had that energy of knowing you're going to make it. You can make it, and you don't have to be afraid. And, this was she was doing all this in the late 40s, early 50s. She was making these travels as a woman of color, coming across the country, going into a trade where some patients didn't even want black skin to touch them, and she was working in an industry that didn't respect her or didn't honor her. And I think about my grandmother. I think about the woman she is now, how challenging life was for her, even as a professional, because eventually she and my grandfather got a divorce, and then she was a single mom because they had one child left, my youngest aunt, and they put her through college, and they made sure their other children had trades because they didn't want to go right to college after high school. They wanted to get trades and get jobs right away because they were parents, for one thing. And then the youngest one, she went to university, and this is a little 12-year-old orphan child, and the energy that she embodies. And when I see my Nana now, it's like she is Empress to me. She is Big Mama, and she's very tiny and petite, but she has big energy. She has big Empress energy. The way she navigates in the world, she speaks her own truth. She laughs. She's always talking about forgiveness and family, and the importance of it, and the importance of knowing yourself, and the importance of not letting things that happen to you stop you on your path. Just keep going. She says all the time, just keep living, baby. Just keep living. And she also says, keep living and keep praising God. Keep praising God. Keep praising God. Don't stop praying. And so this is Empress energy to me. And I just wanted to come and share with that, and, share this tool of creating imagery in your own likeness. Adversarial people will tell you, oh, don't create images, or don't create, we don't worship idols. There's only one source. There's only one divine Mother, Father, God. There's only one, but it manifests itself in a myriad of ways. You cannot think of that the God who created the universe is only one religion, or only one path to it, or one, or only one gender. You can only encompass God in the gender of male. Like, that is ridiculous and insane to me. And I don't know how people would look at a sunflower and say, God doesn't exist. Divine intelligence doesn't exist. This is just all willy-nilly happening. I don't know, but, there's a knowing that knows. And I bless people who, do not feel like there is a source of all supply. And it's all good. It's all good, because as far as I'm concerned, I found my path, and it's working for me, and I'm okay with that. And I hold a space for everybody on this planet, that we come together and that we do the work of healing, so that we can transform all of the stuff that we have done to this planet. Or if not, as it gets destroyed, that we go out in love. Really, that, that, because that the alternative is we get it right or it gets destroyed. So, you know, I feel like love is the only answer, and you cannot love anybody else outside of yourself if you haven't found love within you. And so I just encourage you to find the Empress, Emperor within you, and be blessed. Peace and blessings.